Hello, we've got a pre-intro
We
intro.
have. You
Um,
have.
Welcome to Planet Marzipan. We've got another one of our meets episodes today, and it's a very special one, Craig, isn't it?
It is with the absolutely gorgeous guitar king, Stuart Clyde.
Yeah, from Stillmarillion, and it's a fairly lively chat. I hope you enjoy it. But we've got some musical treats this week.
Ooh.
Craig, what's the first one?
We talked to Stuart in the interview about their fantastic rendition of piano and voice of A Gentleman's Excuse Me. So the guys have, we didn't quite have to get begging and pleading, but we were close to it. And they've actually given us a recording live of them doing A Gentleman's Excuse Me. So we've popped that in the episode, in the conversation with Stuart. And then you've got to listen out.
Yes, we've got extra special thanks to the Stillmarillion boys. They've given us three more live tracks, so there's one from each year of the band. And if you play our episode as normal and then stick with it after the episode, because there's a mini gig from Stillmarillion on the end, three bonus live songs. Let us know what you think in the Facebook group. Let us know what you think about music being in the podcast because we don't normally do that. So it's a bit of a different thing for us. Do you like it? Do you not like it? But we really want to thank the Stillmarillion boys for giving us the recordings and giving us the permission to do it. Thank you also to Lucy, who we've checked in with to make sure she doesn't have an issue with it.
So now, on with the episode.
Hello
Hello.
and welcome to Planet Marzipan, the Fish and Marillion podcast. I'm Meza, and here's my mate,
Craig Houston.
Hello and welcome to Planet Marzipan. I'm Meza, I'm here with my good friend,
Craig.
and it's one of our Planet Marzipan Meets episodes, as you can see from the title of the episode. We are here to meet Stuart Clyde from Stillmarillion.
Hi everyone, lovely to be here.
Hi,
Thank you very much
Stuart.
for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us. Are you well?
I am really well, thanks. Tip top, man.
Good. And Stuart is the keyboard player in Stillmarillion, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But we're going to talk through Stuart's musical life, and we'll start where we always start with how did you get into Marillion?
And also, it's not his first episode. This is actually technically his
I would
seventh
say, yes.
episode.
Stuart Clyde of this parish, yes.
How did I get into Marillion?
Yes.
Well, I can remember that really, really well, actually. It was 1984, and a really good friend of mine, Gordon, that we're still fabulous friends now. We were, 13 at the time, and his uncle had given him a tape. And it was this band that neither of us had heard of, but the album was called Script for a Jester's Tear. And Gordon had listened to this and he said, Clyde, you need to come up to my room and have a listen to this. So here we were in his mum and dad's house, sitting up in his bedroom, and he played me Script for a Jester's Tear. What do you think of that then? And I went, this is absolute shit. What is that garbage? Because right up to that point, I'd been a kind of poppy guy. I had him in the answer all the rest of the early 80s and into all that. And I thought, what is this weird music? As I said, I was 13 years old. He went, no. Listen to it again. Listen to it again. So after he played the whole album once, he played it all again. What do you think now? And I don't know. Listen to it again, he says. So he played it a third time. And the third time I'm starting to go, actually, that's not bad. Go and just play it one more time. And by the fourth time, that was me hooked. Absolutely hooked. And I thought it was the greatest thing I'd ever heard. It's not an easy listen to first time round, I don't
Oh,
think.
not at all.
No,
Not
no,
at all.
not at all.
It's
No.
not the kind of thing you listen to and go, do you know what? That's brilliant. It's not Duran Duran or something. It takes a bit of processing, and it took me about four playings. But after that four playings, well, the rest, as they say, is the rest.
And where did you first see the band live?
The first time I saw the band live was in Glasgow in the SEC on the Misplaced Childhood tour, and that was my very first gig ever.
Oh, that's a good place to start, isn't it?
Yeah, so it was summer 1985, and on the Misplaced tour. So by the time that I was getting into them and listening to script, Fugazi was coming out, but we got into that a little bit later because we were obsessed with script, and then of course we kind of caught up with Fugazi, and then Misplaced Childhood came out, and all the singles and everything they were in the charts, and everybody knew about them by that time. So they were really popular. So yeah, a good place to start your gigging experience.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well, what was yours again, Craig?
My first was Edinburgh Playhouse on the holidays in Eden 12 back in
No, 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 no.
September
Your first
91.
gig. Your first gig.
Oh, my first gig. Oh,
Yes.
shawaddy waddy.
No.
Shawaddy waddy.
That's why I've asked him.
Yeah.
Oh, what was
And
yours then, Miss?
Mine was the Stranglers
Oh,
at
brilliant.
Bridlington Spa Pavilion in 1979.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not embarrassed about shawaddy waddy
Oh,
being
cool.
the
There's
first
bloody
gig at
Shiwaddy
all.
Waddy, but there
You
you go.
should be.
I even saw Alvin Stardust around at the same time with that as well. So
Steady now. Steady
it's,
now.
it's all this
I've
it's all
just
this
got
70s
visions
pop
of you
stuff.
clad in black leather with black leather gloves. And was that not the look you went for, no?
I was more like the teddy boy in the coloured the coloured
In your
jacket.
crepes.
Yeah.
I think that's worse.
Yeah, give us a minute, I'll start singing Under the Moon of Love. So
Wow. I think that's the big ending that Stuart's looking for, is you singing Under the Moon of Love. So what about your musical life then, Stuart? Were you playing piano at that point, or did that come later?
No, but that came a little bit later. My musical life started. I started getting into music. I can almost tell you to the date when it happened, because it was when John Lennon died. So it was the very beginning of December, 8th of December. He died, 1980,
Yeah.
and all I was hearing on the news and on the radio for days and days and days was John Lennon, the Beatles, John Lennon, the Beatles, and I hadn't heard of either of these two things at all. I was just about to turn 10 years old. And I hadn't heard of any of it, but it was just constant. Everybody was talking the Beatles, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, the Beatles. So I said to my dad, I said, "Look, this guy that's died, I've got no idea who he was, and they keep mentioning the Beatles. What is this they're talking about, Dad?" And he put his arm around me and said, "Come here, son," and walked me over to the record player. And gave me the double gatefold greatest hits Beatles album, the red one.
The red one, yeah, yeah.
And
62 to 66,
yeah,
65, isn't it? Yeah.
And he just put the headphones on me, plugged it in, gave me the needle, and said, he didn't actually say anything. He just said, "Have a listen to that, son." And I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was just blew me away. And then so I was kind of gobsmacked when he came back. And he went, "Okay," he took the red one, gave me the blue one, have a listen to that one. I was like, Jesus, this is the most amazing thing ever. So that was me. I got Beatlemania about 15 years too late. But that's what got me into music and seriously wanted to be a part of it. And it was shortly after that episode I was telling you about in Gordon's bedroom when we'd listened to script that I homed in on what Mark Kelly was playing and thinking that I have no idea what that dude's doing, but see that diddly doodly diddly diddly widdly 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 widdly. I said, "That's what I want to do." I said, "I don't know what it is and I don't know how he's doing it. I don't even know what the thing is that he's doing it on." I said, "But that's the noise I want to make. I want to be that guy." And that kind of started it off from there. And I managed to talk my mum and dad into getting me a wee Yamaha keyboard, which I still have to this day for
Do you?
posterity. Yeah, yeah.
Are you a
Yamaha.
collector? Because
Well, I tried to keep a hold of some of the old keyboards that I have. Some of them don't make it that long, because
Yeah.
I play them pretty hard, so a lot of them die. But I've got my Yamaha MK100 from about 1983 or 84 or something,
Uh,
whenever that was, and I've still got that in the loft somewhere. And every now and then I go, that's where it all started.
so was there, and then were the piano lessons, or were you self-taught, or?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I taught myself for about 2 or 3 years, and then my dad said, "Look, if you're going to be serious and you're going to learn how to do this, then we'll send you to piano lessons." So, about the age of 15 or 16, I went to piano lessons with a lady called Mrs. Halliburton, in East Kilbride on the south side of Glasgow. And I was there for years and years. I went through all my exams at school, and then went on to study it later on in life as well. So it started me off on a real journey of getting into the intricacies of being a player. Ended up playing lots of different styles and learning classical as well. So it was yeah, it was a real positive start, and it all came from that first few spins of script
Yeah.
back in 1984.
And from there, where did the gigging musician life start then?
When I left school, I went to university to study engineering. And then I decided that after 1 year, the engineering life wasn't for me. And what the world actually needed was another rock musician full time.
Sounds like a
So
plan.
don't try this at home, kids. Um, so I managed to persuade my dad that actually university wasn't a great idea, but being a full-time rock musician was a phenomenal idea. And God love him, he was behind me all the way. And I joined a band who had been signed before I joined them, a band called Glasgow. And they had an album out in 1987, and I joined them in 1989 as an 18-year-old. These guys were much more seasoned musicians than I was, and they were chasing a deal in America. And we had a couple of trips to America. Well, the management and the singer did, to meet publishing companies and stuff. And it looked as if it was pretty much on the cusp of getting a deal in the States. The songs were brilliant, absolutely, still are
What
absolutely
sort
great
of
songs.
style was it?
It was AOR.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, so you imagine kind of the heaviness of Deep Purple, but the melodies and harmonies of Journey or something,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
it was it was heavy, but it was really melodic. And I still listen to some of the stuff today and think, wow, somebody missed out on not signing that. So we were pretty much on the cusp of getting signed in America. And the chap that was putting all the money behind us in the UK to get us over to America, because they'd actually booked a small club tour for us over there. And the fellow that was putting up the money to get us over there pulled out at the last minute.
No.
And by that time, I'd been chasing that dream for the best part of 5 years. I was now just about 23. But all the rest of the guys in the band were about 10 years older than me. And I'm thinking, do you know what? I really don't want to be in a position where in another 10 years' time, I'm still chasing that record deal that's just always out of grasp and lets you out at the last minute. So I decided that at the age of 23, I would go back to uni. But this time, I realised that if you're going to go to uni, you need to do something that you're passionate about, that you really love. So I went to study music at the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama, and I was there from 1994 to 1998, studying piano and voice,
Wow.
and still was gigging throughout that. If I wasn't playing in bands, I'd do the occasional piano bar in a hotel or a nightclub or something, and get by that way. So yeah, I've been gigging on and off pretty much all my life, ever since I was old enough to fake getting into a pub.
And different genres of bands then?
Yeah, yeah. When I was at uni, I joined a kind of function band, pub band, and that was we did weddings, we did working men's clubs, and all sorts of different functions and cabaret as well. And that trains you really, really well because you get to play everybody else's music. And it doesn't matter what genre, you know, because if you're in a tribute band, you're playing that one band's stuff.
Mm.
Or, you know, if you're in a disco tribute band, you're in that genre. But when you play in a club band or a wedding band, you're playing everything. You know, you're playing everything from Living on a Prayer and Bon Jovi right down to Unchained Melody and everything else in between that'll get people on their feet at a wedding. So it was a really good schooling for that. And the piano bars as well, playing in and out of that and taking requests and playing stuff that people wanted to hear that you never actually played before, but you could hear it in your ear was quite good training for being able to for taking forward your instrument and just getting your head around it. So
And can you play by ear now?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's actually my comfort zone is doing that. I mean, when I was studying music properly, yeah, I had to do a lot of reading and a lot of classical playing. But my real love is jamming. You know, I like nothing more than somebody asking for a song that I think, oh, I've never played that before. But you know what? I can hear it in my head. Let's just give it a go. And that buzz of, you know, jamming with other musicians or just making something up as you go along, I really love that. Flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
That's been pretty much my entire career.
Let's flick you back to punter mode. What's your
Yeah.
what's your favorite gig of all time that
Oh,
you've been to?
easy, easy. And I know it's a wee bit of a cliche to say it's a Marillion one, but I knew the minute I came out of this Marillion show that I would never ever go to a better gig in my whole life. And it was a combination of a whole things. It was the Farewell to '86 tour. It was the day before, no, it was the day after my 16th birthday. So they were playing New Year's Eve, Hogmanay up here in Scotland, in the Glasgow Barlands on the 31st of December, 1986. And me and my pals all went to that. And we'd queued up for hours to get tickets. And then we queued up for hours and hours in the front of the freezing Barlands. Because bear in mind, it's the 31st of December in Glasgow.
Hmm.
You know, you're not going to get much colder than that. We've
Yeah,
been
it's
queuing up
not
since
not
about
exactly balmy. Yeah.
no, 9 o'clock in the morning or something. I mean, we were in this huge big queue because we knew that the minute that door opened, we were horsing up the stairs right to the front to the barrier underneath where Fish was going to stand. And we did. And that whole thing happened. And we got right in front of Fish. And we were absolutely ecstatic. And the tickets said the band will be on stage at 7:30 and off stage by 10 o'clock to let everybody home for the bells because it was Hogmanay and everybody wanted to take it home for New Year. So there was no faffing about. You know, it was they're on stage at 7:30, they're off at 10. You better get ready. And there's no support band. So when we walked in, we walked up to the stage and the place was an absolute guddle. It was a real mess. You know, there was no theatrics. There was no there was no props around. It was just amps and cables and mics and lights just lying everywhere as if it was a rehearsal. It was an absolute state, but it was brilliant because it felt like you were just walking into a rehearsal, you know.
Yeah.
And it was so close we could touch it. We were 16 at the time. We're absolutely excited out of our nut. Um, and they came on at bang on 7 o'clock. You know, no fancy intro music, no theatrics, no light show. 7:30, the lights went down. The guys just walked on stage and blasted into Assassin and knocked everybody to the back of the room. It was just the most exciting thing I've ever seen. And it was at that point of time that I think they were in the middle of writing and recording Clutching at Straws. So we got a glimpse of some of the stuff that they were going to be released. So we got White Russian and
Yeah,
one or two other.
Incommunicado we got,
Yeah,
because I'd seen them at Liverpool about 2 or 3 days before.
right.
And did we not? Yeah, I think White Russian. Did we get Warm at Circles? I can't remember.
I don't remember. I don't remember. But it was just the most magical thing. So it was a kind of combination of, you know, almost like coming of age. I was 16 the day before. I was going to see my favourite band in the world. I was right at the front, you know, just dripping in Fish's sweat probably as he was so close. Hearing my favourite music played live with zero pomp and circumstance. It was like walking into a rehearsal. It was just the most magical experience ever. So that is without shadow of a doubt one of the best, well, the best concert I've ever been
Yeah.
to. But the best concerts I've been to pretty much have all been at the Glasgow Barlands. I don't know if you guys have ever been, but it's a real special place. It's kind of hallowed ground.
I've been once.
Have you? I've
I
not
think
been. Who
just
did you go and
once.
see?
It was Marillion and the Marbles tour.
All right, okay. No, no, I've
Yeah.
it's in folklore is the Barrowlands, isn't it? But I've never been.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
true.
Is it a low ceiling? Have I dreamt that? Is it a low ceiling?
It's not particularly mostly. No, no. It's quite high with a big glitter bowl. It used to be a ballroom. You know, literally in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, it was
Is
a
it? Did it was
dancing.
like it's got a slightly
Sprung
bouncy floor,
floor.
hasn't it?
Yes, it
From back,
has.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, yes, and it's still got the original ceiling, the kind of yellow and blue diamonds on the roof. It's very recognisable. In fact, Simple Minds did the video for Waterfront
Yeah.
in the Glasgow Barlands. I know a few folk were actually in the video, but I was there really recently. Actually, I went to see Nile Rodgers and Chic
Oh yeah.
at the Glasgow Barlands, and it was absolutely outstanding. I mean, I think that's about the third time I've seen Nile Rodgers. I just love that. It's one of these things, actually. It's a kind of a guilty pleasure, that kind of disco vibe, because it wasn't cool to be into it when everybody was into it. But now that it's sort of passed by, there was some tremendous music
I
getting
mean,
played
yeah,
there.
incredible player and great songwriter as well.
So good. I saw an interview with him once actually, and he hit the nail on the head when he said that musically, he said disco sounds really simple. You know, and it sounds as if we're all just kind of amateur up there battering out three or four chords. He said, but the trick with Chic is the music is really complex, really complicated chords, very difficult to play, very difficult to put together, but it sounds dead easy.
Yeah.
And if you've ever tried to play something that he's written, it is really complex. You know, it's really tasty, interesting jazz chords, but it sounds really simple, but deceptively so. But yeah, love myself a bit of Chic Me.
Nothing wrong with Sheik. Nothing wrong with Sheik. Do you play any other instruments apart from keyboards?
Um, I trained as a piano player and singer, so I sing quite a bit. And being I was a classroom teacher for a long time as well. So all the classroom instruments to teach kids, to be a certain level. So I play a bit of drums, a bit of bass, a bit of guitar as well. Nothing special in any of them, but enough to get away with for
Yeah, yeah.
half an hour or so, jamming away.
And have you, when you were sort of doing your gigs in the piano bar,
hmm
were there any sort of songs that you got a new appreciation for because people would request them, or any that you're absolutely sick of singing?
I think if I never have to play Billy Joel's Piano Man ever
I was
again.
expecting that. I was expecting
Oh
that.
man, it is just constant. Can you play piano? Not again. So yeah, I could really do without that. Wagon wheel. Wouldn't mind not ever playing Darius Trucker's Wagon Wheel. But some of the songs that I've learned that were piano based, like Walking in Memphis, that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Mark Cohn,
Um, Just the way it is, Bruce Hornsby.
Stuart Hornsby, yeah.
These things really complex to play, a real challenge to play, but absolutely so rewarding to play. And the things that are kind of real signature piano stuff, like I don't like Mondays. That's just a dream to play these kind of things. Um, but from actually going from one of the songs that I would gladly never play again. Billy Joel's written a few of the ones that I would never ever tire playing.
Okay.
So New York State of Mind
Yeah.
is just a beautiful song to play. Scenes from an Italian restaurant. It is just, it's like a marathon playing that. You have to leave
Brilliant. It's
15 minutes at the end of
prod
your
for the
set.
piano. It's amazing. It's amazing song.
So I love to play and sing those ones. Yeah.
Okay. Um, just bringing it back to Stillmarillion then.
Mhm.
When were you first aware of Stillmarillion?
I was aware of Stillmarillion before they were Stillmarillion. I was a big fan of Forgotten Sons.
Forgotten Sons, we saw him in that
Yeah.
garden as well, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I went to Forgotten Sons' first gig. I didn't realize it was their first gig at the time, but when I was speaking to Martin about it a few years ago, I was saying, "Oh yeah, I think I was at Forgotten Sons." He went, "Oh, what one did you go to?" I said it was the show down in Greenock, and he went, "Bloody hell, that was our first gig." I was like, "No way!" So we would go and see Forgotten Sons anytime that we could. Me and the guys that ended up going to all the other Marillion gigs in the mid-80s. And we went to see Forgotten Sons all these times. They were absolutely brilliant. In fact, one of the Forgotten Sons gigs there was at a place called the Spider's Web in Edinburgh. And Fish came to that gig.
Did he?
Yeah, yeah, because obviously being a local living in Harrington at the time, it was just half an hour's drive from his place. So we went for a few drinks in the Spider's Web upstairs. So the live room was downstairs, and we went for a couple of drinks, my friend and we're just having a couple of pints. And we look over, saw this incredibly tall chap standing at the end of the bar, going, "I think I know that fella. I know who that is." So I went up to Fish, said, "Look, I'm not here to fanboy and make an embarrassment of myself or anything, but look, can I buy you a drink just to say thanks for all the music throughout the years?" And he said, "Yeah, no bother." So we had a pint together, and then he went back to his family, and I went back to my pals, and it was all very amicable. But he came downstairs to the show, and was chatting away to Martin at the interval, and that was a really good experience. So it was, yeah, I was a big fan of Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
And then when Still Marillion came along a few years later, after Forgotten Sons had folded, and I think there was a wee bit of time where they weren't doing anything. And then I think it was Mark Mitchell actually persuaded Martin into restarting and with him on the guitar. So I became a huge fan of them again, and we would not only go around Glasgow and the surrounding areas to see them, but we would end up in Leicester more times than not watching them with these same guys. Now I'm going back as recently as 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. We would go and with the same fellas that I'd grown up with,
Yeah.
listening to Progester's Tea in the bedroom and going to the gigs in the Barlands and the SEC in Glasgow, because we still stay in touch. We're still really, really good pals, and I think that's in no small part down to the music itself. I think
Yeah, definitely.
Marillion is all about this sense of family. But anyway, yeah, so went to see Still Marillion any time that I could. And I remember on many, many occasions standing back and watching Stephen, the previous keyboard player, on stage with Still Marillion and thinking to myself, "You lucky bastard. You have got the greatest gig in the world." And I was really pleased for him, but you would not believe how envious I was. But on many, many occasions, and the last time that I saw them, I was playing with a Simple Minds tribute band, Simple Minded, and the drummer Paul is also a great Marillion fan. So Paul and I used to go to a lot of the Leicester shows, and we were standing in the Y Theatre in the summer of 2019. And we'd had a few by that time, of course, as you do. And we were watching the band, and they were just sounding, knocking it out the park. It was absolutely brilliant. And I think it was the Space that they played I think it was one of the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
times they played the
yeah.
Space. And there's just about tears running down my face, thinking, "Gee, this is the greatest noise I've ever heard in my whole life." And I turned around to Paul, who was the drummer in the band I was playing with at the time, the Simple Minds tribute. And for some bizarre reason, and I still don't know why I said this, I said to him, "God, see if they asked you, would you join the band?" And he just sort of laughed, and we carried on, listened to the music. And then 2 weeks later, I got a phone call.
What, they
Right out,
approached you?
yeah, yeah, right out the blue. And I thought, geez, I was just thinking this
Yeah,
2 weeks ago. But no, I got a phone call from Martin saying that Stephen was departing the band. I think it was actually a Dep gig, first of all. There was a gig that he couldn't do, that they were looking for a Dep. And the Glasgow music scene, the whole music scene in Scotland's quite insular.
I was
You
waiting
know,
for you to say
I
incestuous,
was going to
please.
say
A
incestuous. Yeah,
swerve
yeah.
there.
well, I will. I'll let you into a secret. I was desperately trying to find the other word that wasn't incestuous. I thought it begins with "in." What the fuck was it? Right. Okay.
No, we went there for you. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, we all knew each other. We knew that we were all fans of the one band, and we'd been to see each other playing in various other bands as well. So yeah, he knew I was a big fan, and obviously he'd met me in many different states of drunkenness at the Leicester shows, but knew that I could play a bit, and he called and said, "Would you do the Dep show?" And I bit his hand off for it, said definitely, and then long story cut short, before that Dep show actually happened, I got the call to say that's actually Stephen left permanently. Now he's not coming back. Do you want the gig? So I thought that was like all my Christmases come at once because I had gone from literally a few weeks ago going, "Wow, Stephen, you've got the greatest gig in the world," and what I would do, what would I do if they actually asked me? And then within a few weeks,
Is
it
that
actually
not
happened.
manifesting?
Do you know? I never actually thought about it like that, Mez, but it could be. It could be. Yeah, I kind of put myself into that slot many times. But that wasn't you to me though, because even as a kid, 14, 15, 16 years old, listening to Marillion albums and listening to the live stuff in my bedroom at night, I would literally sit and fantasize thinking, what if we were at a Marillion gig one night and Fish walked out 10 minutes before the show started and said, "Really sorry, folks, we're going to have to cancel tonight's show. Mark's unwell." Oh, unless there's somebody else that might be able. And I used to fantasize with this, going like, me, pick me, I'll do it. Uh, Not that that ever happened, of course, but it's something that I've always dreamed of. Is what I'm saying. Since I was a teenager, I always wanted to perform these songs live
Yeah, yeah.
properly to an audience of people that were there to see that music. And it only took 30 odd years, but we
Hey,
got we
but
got
you
there in the
got
end.
there. You got there. That's the important thing. I mean, what you really needed was swap the band to come back to conventions.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool. I've watched the videos of it before. And of course, Guy's been up there. I think he was playing assassin when I saw Guy doing
Yeah,
it. So that
yeah.
was brilliant. Yeah, I'd bite your hand off for a shot at doing that.
But
But I don't.
you guys have got a good relationship with the band and Lucy, haven't you? You've got a
Yeah, we
very
do.
respectful relationship.
Yes, we do. We do. We try and think of what we're doing and how it might impact Marillion, how it might impact Lucy, how it would, and we try really, really hard not to clash. And we seem to have a really good symbiotic relationship, and we know the guys pretty well. Um, Talking away to them after shows and stuff. So I think Pete's the only one that's not been up to play. I'm not so sure about Ian.
I don't think
Uh,
Ian and Pete, I think, are the two that haven't.
yeah, yeah. And I think we were kind of harassing Pete a couple of years ago. Come on, you're the only one that hasn't come and guested to get your butt along. And he was saying, "Oh, I definitely need to do that." And he took not well as well. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
sort of put that on the back shelf. But you're right. We do have a pretty good working relationship with Marillion themselves, and long may it continue because it seems to work well. Seems to work really
Yeah,
well.
definitely, definitely. But I think the way that you guys operate, and you talk very positively about Marillion current lineup as well. And
Hmm.
the bulk of your set list is the Fish era, isn't it? But I really like it when you kind of stretch out into some of the H stuff and the Fish solo stuff as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit how you came? Because you and Martin do a duet version of Gentleman's Excuse Me, don't you?
Yes, yes. So, yeah, the band long before I joined, obviously set up to be a Fish era tribute act, and were so for a long, long time. But I think when you've got four studio albums to work from and their B sides, there's a finite amount of material, and I think just about the time that just before I joined, actually, the guys were starting to stretch their legs a little bit and thinking,
Yeah.
okay, well, we can push this into, an EMI era tribute act, and let's try something from Season's End. And they started to do some stuff from Season's End, and it was going down really, really well. And I love Season's End as well, so I was delighted to start playing that on. In fact, it was really good for me because when I joined in 2019. They'd only just played one or two from Season's End. I think it was The Space was pretty much it. Maybe one other. Um, but we decided in 2019 that we were going to perform the whole of Season's End at the Edinburgh weekend.
It's come up on my Facebook memories yesterday, I think it was.
Oh yeah,
Is that right? Was it the 13th, wasn't it? So
that
it
sounds
was
about
it.
right. Yeah,
It
it was
was
over two
a year
nights.
after Marillion at the Albert Hall.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, you see, it came up on my memories. It was a cracking gig. It was really good.
I loved it, and I loved it for a number of reasons. When I was doing all the Fish era stuff for the 6 months that I'd been in the band up to then, I was always playing catch up, because as much as I was familiar with listening to that material and playing it as a kid, I hadn't actually played it
Mm.
properly for, I don't know, 25 years, maybe more. So getting your fingers around playing the material that you knew in your head really, really well was quite a challenge. And I always felt as if I'm playing catch up because the rest of the guys had been playing by that time, for 10 years together and tight as a duck's arse, and here's
Well,
me coming in thinking, oh, I'm going to remember this bit, I'm going to remember that bit.
it's not radically different, but it must be slightly different to the Marillion because you've got to then fit in with their little quirks of how they play little bits of the songs and
That's right, that's right. So the all the fish eater stuff, I was I felt as if I was playing catch up with it, but it sounded okay. It sounded good. But then when we decided that, okay, we're going to play the whole of Season's End, that was a leveler for me. It was a level playing field at that time because these guys hadn't played um, Season's End. So I was thinking, great, now we're all in the same boat. We're all a wee bit shit. we
no,
need, we
you
need,
weren't. You
we need
weren't.
to polish this turd before we play it live. And I think we did a pretty decent job. It was I really, really, really loved playing that, and that then gave us the confidence to push the envelope out a little bit and start to. Look at Holidays in Eden, maybe a wee bit from Brave, and we just every now and then we poke in that direction, just to test the water actually to see how well it goes down. And to be honest, I think I'd like to do more of that kind of thing because it seems to be going down really,
I
really well.
love it when you do that. I mean, the set list for that gig, I'm just flicking through my memories. The set list for that gig in Edinburgh is King of Sunset Town, Easter, Uninvited Guest, Torch Song, Into Slange, Season's End, Holloway Girl, Berlin, Splintering Heart, Cover My Eyes, Dry Land, Tucks On, After Me, Hooks in You, The Space,
Oh,
and then an encore of The Last Straw Incommunicado.
oh,
Absolutely stunning.
can we do that next week?
Please, yes, please.
That's what a monster show that
It
must
was
have been.
amazing. It was really good. I'd got no voice the following day, I really hadn't.
Great. You were asking about the gentleman's excuse me.
Yes, yeah.
Um, that actually started off as a drunken carry on. We were playing somewhere down south. It might have been Chester or something. Can't remember exactly. Martin will tell you chapter and verse. He's very good for things like that. But we ended up in this hotel after the show that we were playing. And normally it's a Premier Inn or something like that. But whatever happened this night, we ended up at a hotel with a lounge and a
Mm.
bar and a piano. And by the time we got back from the gig, you're probably talking 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. So we managed to talk the person who was on the nights to get us a few beers or a few drinks, or maybe we brought our own in, I can't really remember. And we're sitting there for an hour or two, chatting away and having drinks. But there's this piano sitting over in the corner, winking at me. Come on, Clyde, come on up. You're drunk enough now to come up and give us a tinkle. So I decided I was going to go over and just mess around a wee bit. And I was playing daft things that I might do in a piano bar or something. And I can't remember whose idea it was, but we decided that we were going to give Gentleman's Excuse Me a go. Not that, Martin had ever sung it before. I'd never played it before, but one of these things that I was telling you about earlier, it's just great fun to try and pick it out from what you
Yes.
can hear in your head and see how far you can get. So we got about halfway through the verse and we're all laughing, thinking, this is great fun. And bloody Mitchell's up at the back with his phone on recording it. Like, what are you doing, you bugger? We're all drunk and just messing about. But he was really enjoying it. And he recorded it on his phone. And I think because the drink had been flowing plentifully that night, he decided he was just going to bang it right up on Facebook at that time. Um, you know, and the response we got just from that daft carry on was huge. And we thought, God, that's really hit a nerve. Maybe we should do something. So I said to Martin, I think we should do something with that, and do just a piano vocal number. to change the dynamic of the gig a wee bit, and create a bit of a nice lull. And let's pick something. And we stuck with Gentleman's Excuse Me. And I took the song away and learned it properly, and then did a piano reduction of it, just keeping the most important parts, making sure the harmonies were right, and building it around Martin's voice. And what you hear at most of the shows that we do these days is what came out of that. And we've been doing it for 2, maybe 3 years now, and
It's brilliant.
it feels very much part of the show.
Okay, well, as promised, here is the rendition, the Stillmarillion rendition of A Gentleman's Excuse Me.
This is a song called A Gentleman's Excuse Me. Do you still keep paper flowers in the bottom drawer with your Belgian lace? Taking them out every year to watch the colours fade away. Do you still believe in fairy tales, in battlements of shining castles, safe from the dragons that lie beneath the hill? Are you still a Russian princess, rescued by a gypsy dancer? To anyone who'll listen, is that a story you still tell? You live a life of fantasy, your diary, romantic fiction. Can't you see it's hard for me? Can't you see what I'm trying to say? It's a gentleman's excuse me, so I'll take one step to the side. Can you get it inside your head? I'm tired of dancing. For every one step forward, I'm taking 2 steps back. Can you get it inside your head? I'm tired of dancing. I know you still like old-fashioned waltzes, your reflection in the mirror that you flirt with as you glide across the floor. But if I told you the music's over, would you want to hear that your dance card is empty, that there's no one really there? Do you still believe in Santa Claus? There's a millionaire looking for your front door with the key to a life that you'd never understand. And all I have to offer is the love I have, it's freely given. And you'll see its value when you see what I tried to say. It's a gentleman's excuse me, so I'll take one step to the side. Can you get it inside your head? I'm tired of dancing. For every one step forward, I'm taking 2 steps back. Can you get it inside your head that from this one day forward, there's no turning back? Can you get it inside your head? I'm tired of dancing. We're finished dancing. Mr. Stuart Clyde on the piano.
We're actually thinking now that, have we done it enough now that we need to think of something else?
Well, you'd have to replace it with something else, wouldn't you? That's the
Yeah, and Martin and I have been talking about this. I don't want to give too much away, but we do have another idea of something that we could take from the Marillion back catalogue and reduce it. But we're open to ideas. So if you guys or any of your listeners have got something that you think actually that would be a really nice piano reduction song, let us know and maybe give it a
Well,
bash.
I mean, Hollow Man would be
Yep.
the obvious other choice to me. But what do you think, Craig?
Oh, I think just with us the other week doing the seasons end stuff and that again, I think go back to After Me
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you've
could
done
do.
that. I think you've done that. Have you done that before? As
Yeah, we
part
did
of,
it
yeah,
as part
yeah,
of the season's end
yeah,
shows. We did all the B-sides as well.
yeah. But I think that would be a nice one to go back to. I
Yeah.
mean, I loved it last year when you pulled out songs from Vigil, doing like
Yeah,
Cliche and Vigil,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
they were absolutely epic last year.
They were
Really.
great. They were great. I really want to do them again, and we will do them again. It's just when do we do them? How long do we leave it now that Fish is retired and he's just finished his solo tour to leave a respectful amount of time for that before we say right, okay, we'll take over now, and we don't want to upset anybody by doing that. So
I
we're always
don't
trying
think
to
you'd
do it.
upset anybody because if you think now, you're a year past him finishing the tour in
Mhm.
Europe. So it's a year gone now.
No, he's
So
back though.
uh,
He's back. He kicked, didn't he, a couple of weeks
With a
ago?
with a covers
Dan
band
Cayley
in
with
a
a cover
pub.
band. He's back. Maybe
So yeah,
not.
watch this space. We'll come up with something else, acoustic wise, and definitely doing some more stuff from Vigil coming up
Okay.
um, in the next year or two.
There's a couple of other things I want to ask you about the
Mhm.
shows. Now, certainly at the beginning of, was it this year, you took a real step forward with your back projections
Mm.
and the images that you've got behind you. I know you had a big part in that, and along with a couple of other guys. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we'd been toying with the idea of doing more things with the back projection. We did have like, an old Windows laptop that had a PowerPoint slide that was basically just whatever single that we had on the go, whatever album that we were playing from or whatever single, we would have the cover art for that on. But I thought, there's other things out there that could make it a little bit more interesting. You go to these big shows and you see animations and you see clips from the video of that song. So I thought, yeah, okay, what could we do with that? And I did a wee bit of research and found a chap in America that made this software called VisiBox, and it is bespoke software for Mac and for Windows actually that specifically does live images for shows, but modestly priced as well. It's not as if
Hmm.
it's a huge production. Things like U2 go on stage and they take this enormous backlight show with them. This was aimed at people that play in tribute bands or play in wedding bands or function bands or they've got a small band themselves.
yeah, it's
So I've
not
got
designed for the Sphere.
no, it's not. So with relatively modest amount of some equipment, we managed to put a show together really quite quickly. And then we got in touch with, well, Barnes.
Hmm.
He was a tremendous help with us. And another chap, I don't know if you know Chuck. He's another big Marillion fan and a professional graphic designer. And through their love of the music, they both decided, well, we'll help you out, guys, and we'll put animations together for you, and we'll show you how to do some stuff yourselves. But if you let us know what gigs you've got coming up, what's your set list for the next year, or what's next year's set list, and we'll start to build some images around. And what Chuck and Barnes did for us was absolutely unbelievable. Just scary good. And it's been a joy developing that and knowing how to trigger it in a song. So they're not sequenced, they're not on a click track or anything. All the changes in the images are all triggered on stage in real time. But the device that you use to trigger that changes a wee bit of time. You go into real techie stuff with MIDI and Bluetooth and USB cables everywhere. So we've grown from having still images to moving images a wee bit, and then images that are really well synced into the music, and then customized animations courtesy of Chuck and Barnes. And we've recently got two live cameras on stage now as well. So we've got a live camera that over overlooks Big Mark on drums,
Yeah.
and a live camera that overlooks the keys rig as well, because those are the two instruments that you can't see front on from stage. So we can now flick halfway through a song to watch Mark playing live, or watch a keyboard solo or something, a kind of widdly bit, just to it just livens things up a bit, makes it a wee bit interesting, and
And who's
hopefully,
controlling that? Is that you?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, as if you haven't got enough to do.
I know, but that's what happens when you've got these harebrained ideas. We should do this, guys. Great idea, Clyde. Off you pop then. Right, okay, so that'll be me doing that then.
Well, it brings me on to the next thing. Being a shy and retiring type,
Indeed.
I wondered about the introduction of the keytar to the
Mm.
Stillmarillion gigs.
The legendary.
I don't
Keaton.
recall them being there before you, so
No, I don't think they were. I think Stephen had much more sense and dignity than to be doing anything as ridiculous as strapping a keyboard around your neck. But this started off a long time ago, actually, when I was playing in a cabaret band. And we were doing like comedy cabaret, and we did kind of a Blues Brothers tribute section, and then we dressed up as something else, and it was the kind of usual kind of comedy cabaret thing. And for a visual aspect of it, I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I got a keytar? So I bought my first keytar, I don't know, maybe about 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, a Roland AX1. And I used that for years and years with the cabaret band. You can overuse it, so it tends to just come out for one song per show, and that leaves it as the kind of gimmick thing.
Yeah.
If you're out there all night, it gets really tired looking at it. So I would be interested in doing that. But it came out once a show, and I played it for a long time with the cabaret club band, and then after that, I joined Simple Minds tribute back. I mentioned tribute band, Simple Minded, and I mentioned to them. I said, "Look, I don't know if it's of any interest to you, just with liven things up, but I've got I've got a keytar." At which point in time, I think I was banished from the rehearsal room. Get out, you posery bastards, and never come back. So no, they didn't chop me out of the band for it, but it was a hard no for the keytar with the
doesn't
Simple
really
Minds
fit
band.
into the Simple Minds
No, it didn't.
groove, does it? No.
No, so it didn't get to see the light of day for about 5 or 6 years when I was playing with Simple Minded. And then when I jumped ship and joined Stillmarillion in 2019, I had the very same conversation. I said, I don't really know if it's of I don't much interest to you, but I've got this thing. It's a keytar. And Mark went, "Oh my God, get out! You have to do that." And I was like, "What? Are you kidding me on? You really want it? Fuck yeah, bring it out. Yeah, let's see what you can do with it." So I thought, "Oh, this is the greatest band I've ever played in." Not only is it the greatest music ever written, but they're letting me get my toys out. So I got a new keytar for the occasion, and yeah, I built it in. And every now and then, when there's a solo-y bit or a showy offy bit that can add something to it, I get it out. But like I said, I try not to do it any more than once a show, unless there's been a few drinks had.
Oh well.
Towards the end of the evening, when you have a garden party in Marcus Square Heroes, it becomes awfully tempting. Just go, "Oh, you know what? I think I'll just get the keys out again." But no, it's we do try and curtail that, but it's great
One
fun.
one of the highlights though is when you and Mark do the guitar versus the keytar.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really good fun.
Well, yeah, it was something that we thought, do you know what, that'd be just be a good fun thing to do, is you rip a solo on the guitar and I'll stand there with my arms folded, shaking my head going, "Oh, no. Just really hamming up this bloody pantomime or something." I said, "And then when you're done, I'll rip into something in the keytar and then we'll just have a battle between the two of us." And we've said for a couple of years now that we've been doing this. Do you know what'd be really good, Mark? It'd be really good if we did some kind of planned duet thing, where we're doing lots of really, really tasty harmonies kind of Thin Lizzy kind of stuff, and we'll coordinate it a bit better. And the two of us, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. 2 years, 3 years down the line, we've never done it once. We're, we're just so busy trying to outplay each other on stage that that's just never come into it. You know, how many notes can I fit into this one bit? I can fit more than you can. But it's we don't take it seriously, you know. We really don't. That's a bit of fun. And the whole thing about the keytar, it's not really about me doing the keytar and coming out and showing off. It's giving people something a wee bit different, and I really like doing something where people get to go away and go, "Oh, did you see that bit? Do you remember that bit where they did that?" That's really important to me, and it doesn't matter if it's a keytar or a prop that comes on stage or something. Because I remember all these Marillion shows where stuff happened, you know, and you've got H with the MIDI gloves and stuff, and all the theatrics that Fish used to do, and I still remember them from when I was
Yeah.
a kid
Yeah.
doing that, and I love the idea of people going away from one of our shows going, oh, yeah, we'd really enjoyed the music and all this, but do you remember the bit where they did this thing? And remember the bit where they did that? And for me, the keytar's one of those things that isn't overly common, but it gives people something to smile about. It gives it something a wee bit unusual.
It's your
Have a bit of a laugh
Weird Al
with it.
Yankovic moment, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Not even as serious as Weird Al Yankovic, but
I think that's the thing for me about you guys is you take the music seriously, but you have a good laugh on stage as well, and that comes across to the audience. You know, we know that you're fans of it, all of you, because of the way you play it, and you want it to look right. But then there's a real sense of fun on the stage as well.
And camaraderie as well. You know,
Yeah.
you can tell you're all mates. You know, you can
we
really
are.
sense that you're really enjoying what you do.
We are really good pals. I mean, we spend a long time together in the back of that van, schlepping up and down the M6. So we have to get on. Not to say that there's not the odd crossword every now and then,
Well,
gents.
yeah.
There's that from time to time. But the bottom line, we're all in it for the same thing. We're all in it for the music and to have a great time with your pals. And what better music to be playing with your pals than stuff that you grew up on, stuff that moves you, stuff that you really love to play. I mean, I mentioned a couple of times Simple Minds band that I was in before, and I like Simple Minds. I've been to see them a few times, but I'm not a super fan. And I was playing with the rest of the guys in the band were super fans,
Right.
and I enjoyed what I was playing, but it didn't move me to the extent that Marillion does. And I knew that when the gig with Stillmarillion came up, that it was time for me to hand the Simple Minds gig onto a proper super fan. You know,
And
somebody
is that who
plays.
replaced you then? Were they?
Absolutely, yeah. A chap called Craig, and he's a super fan of Simple Minds, and is doing an absolutely outstanding job, way better than I did. So it's lovely to see that, and I think you end up where you're meant to be. Do you know what I mean? It might take a long time to get there, but this, I believe, is where I was meant to be. It's the stuff that I enjoy playing the most. I mean, there's sometimes up there when I say the music moves you, I'm not exaggerating about that. I mean, there are times that you'll be close to tears playing the end of the space or something. I mean, I remember that first year in 2019. I was welling up every night that I played the space. I'm thinking, not only is this some of the most beautiful music ever written, but I'm helping make it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually part of this glorious noise.
I mean, you all sound great, but Martin at the end of the space
Oh,
is amazing because he kind of flicks back into his Bruce
Yeah, he does, doesn't it?
power vocal as well, which
yeah.
is fantastic.
He is. He's a freak of nature, and I mean that in the most respectful way.
Well, you're close enough to say that. We just know it.
Well, I've played in lots of bands with an awful lot of singers, but there's nobody comes anywhere close to him. And when I say a freak of nature, I mean it is freakishly talented. How good a singer Martin is, and we're very fortunate to have him in the band. But he's absolutely tremendous. I don't think there'll be anybody to touch him.
No,
And he's
And
a
then-
gentleman as well.
I love the fella.
He is, and he also holds a bit of a record for this podcast, Clyde. No pressure, like so. But
Oh,
he's
aye.
outside of Marillion, he's got the highest first week listening figures. So
Oh, I didn't even know you did.
Yeah,
listening
yeah,
figures for the first week.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's in the
Oh,
top. He's in the top 10 as well.
He is in the top
Episodes
10 of all time.
of
Yeah,
all 100
yeah,
noddies. He's up there.
yeah.
all right, okay.
Everybody loves him.
Did I
So
hear the
wait,
slap of a gauntlet getting put down?
so you're three-quarters of the way through the anniversary tour for Misplaced Childhood this year.
Hmm.
Presumably, you've started to talk about next year's set.
Yes, we have. We have.
Anything you can divulge or not?
We are not going so much with a theme for next year's set. So normally it's celebrating an album or going down a particular theme or whatever, and we've decided not to do that. We're going to be doing just balls out brilliant songs. It's almost like a best of the best of, you
Yeah,
know. So what are the songs that repeatedly go down well, the best live? Which one gets people absolutely going bonkers? Okay, let's just do a set full of them. So we're going balls out next year, yeah. Just
okay. And then am I right in saying your last gigs are at the end of November this year? Is that right?
we've got one, I think, in December that's a reschedule. It was meant to be November. It's been rescheduled in Aberdeen
Oh,
to
yes.
the middle of December. Um, but the regular gigs, as they were booked, finish at the end of November in Putney in
Yes, it's the
London.
two in one day, isn't it?
The
It's the
two, yeah,
afternoon,
yeah, we do
evening,
the
yeah.
Sunday afternoon and the Sunday evening. And we're doing two separate shows. So we're currently putting together something a wee bit special for the afternoon.
That's at the Half Moon, isn't it?
That's at the Half Moon, yeah. So I think the evening gig will be pretty much what we've been touring throughout this year. But the afternoon gig, we're going to be pulling together something a wee bit more special, a wee bit, some curios, some things you don't often get to hear, some things that we've never played before, delving a wee bit further into the H era stuff and bringing some old Marillion, some newer Marillion stuff, some fish material as well. So yeah, just a mishmash of stuff and many things that we'll be playing for the first time.
Sounds brilliant. And then
Right.
you've
I mean,
already started to release dates for next year, haven't you?
Yes, yes, I'm not really that up on those, but
No, no. I think is it Derby the first one you play?
you usually play Derby and Swindon are the first
Yeah,
two
yeah,
out the traps of the year. That's usually at the very end of January, beginning of February. We play the Flower Pot in Derby and then down to Swindon.
yeah.
So yeah, so they're great shows to play, and it's a real blowing away of the cobwebs because by that time it's probably been about 8 weeks since we played together. So and just as a matter of coincidence, remember the chap I was telling you about, Gordon, that we sat up in his bedroom listening to Script for a Jester's
yeah,
Tear in
yeah.
1984. He now lives in Derby.
Does
Oh,
he?
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh
So
wow.
so he comes along to the Derby shows, and it's a great way to celebrate the beginning of the year is with my oldest Marillion pal.
Oh wow. That's great.
So do you think you're going to get more dates in Europe this year, like you did
I
this
think
year coming? Because you did some bigger gigs this year, didn't you? In the Netherlands and Germany.
yeah, yeah, we did a couple of gigs just in Germany, and then we went back another time. We did one in Germany and one in Uden in the Netherlands. Um, they're crazy for it over there. They're really, really crazy. It's a brilliant place to play too. And I think we've got 2 weekends booked on the continent for next year so far. More than happy to go out any other time. But there's a promoter out there that we work quite closely with when we do some of the gigs, and he's always threatening to get us out there for longer. You know, maybe do 5, 7 nights all across the Netherlands. So if that comes up, great. But we'd also love to spread our wings a little bit and go somewhere else. You know, there's been talk of going to Poland. Obviously, there's a big fishing Marillion following in Poland. We'd love to hook up with the Web Poland over there and see if we can go over and do any damage in Poland.
Do it.
But no, we're up for anything. I mean, we get messages all the time from all around the world. Come to Canada, you know, come to Brazil. I'd bloody love to. Can you get someone that'll take us over, please? So there's definitely a demand for it around the world. And we would just love to be able to have the time and the freedom as well as the finances to put a tour like that together. But maybe one day. But at the moment, it's a wee bit of a pipe dream. We're quite happy schlepping over to continental Europe and speaking to these guys and playing for them. It's a real pleasure. But we'd be more than happy to stretch our wings a little bit and see a wee bit more of the world.
Well, look, more power to you guys, and thank you for coming on here and telling us your story.
It's been my pleasure.
It's great that you've got this role in the band because it's clearly what you've wanted since you were tiny. So,
Yep,
you know,
yep.
you're living out your dream.
Literally since I was 13, I thought one of these days I'm going to get on a big stage and I'm going to play in front of loads of people that are going to be really digging this music. And I'm so grateful that the guys in the band saw fit to allow me to do that. So thanks to them, and thanks to everybody else for coming out and watching the shows.
Oh,
and thanks to you, gents, for inviting me along. It's been a real pleasure.
Don't be silly. Thanks for coming on today, and you're more than welcome to come back on again because you talk about this music with a real passion and a real knowledge. So you are definitely an asset to the podcast as well, Stuart.
Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate that. Take care of yourselves.
All right. Well, all that remains to be said is thank you to Stuart.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to Craig.
Why, thank you, young sir.
It's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Take care.
Go on, Stuart. You can
Go on,
do
Clyde.
it.
Bye, everyone.
Yay!
Stay alive.
Oh, and stay alive. Don't die. Whatever you do.
Don't die. Don't die. Yeah, that's a new one. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Planet Marzipan Podcast. Please like and subscribe from whichever platform you get your podcasts from. You can contact us at planetmarzipanpodcast@gmail.com and check out marillion.com, fishmusic.scot for all the good stuff.
Okay, and now it's time for the big encore.
Woohoo!
I heard a battle raging on the other side of the wall. I buried my head in a pillow, trying to ignore it all. Every night when I hear you, dream of breaking down your door. An avenging knight in shining armor to rescue you from it all. From this family business, family business. How long should it stay? Family business. Oh, it's nobody's business. This family business. Can you tell me how long it remains? Family business. When I see you in the supermarket, sunglasses in the shade, averting your eyes from those staring questions. How were those bruises made? Were the children clutched tied to your legs? They've got so much they want to say, but daddy's sitting home drunk again, so they bite their lips and pray. 'Cause daddy don't like people crying, poking in his family affairs. And if anyone asks from the social well, you fell down the stairs. It's family business. Keep it in the family business. Can you tell me how long it remains? Family business. Oh, it's nobody's business. stop at the bottom of the hill. She knows she'll never catch it. She knows she never will. The kids are all she lives for. She's got nothing left to lose. She's got nowhere to escape to. But she knows she's gonna move. 'Cause when daddy talks, the kids, and it's taking longer every night. And the heaven that she is praying for through the hell that lasts all night. It's family business. Keep it in the family business. Can you tell me how long it remains family business? Oh, it's nobody's business. It's family business. Can you tell me how long it should stay family business? So I become an accessory, and I don't have an alibi to the victim on my doorstep. The only way I can justify it's family business, family business. How long do we keep it family business? Thank you very, very much. This is Easter. The ghost of a mist was on the field. The grey and the green together. The noise of a distant fire machine out of the first line king. A tattooed necklace, ancient trees on the southern side of the hill betrays where the border runs between where Mary Denine's boy fell. Together, come on. Time for the blind to sleep. Easter, surely now can all of your hearts free. Out of the port of Liverpool, bound for the north of Ireland, the wash of the spray and horse-tail waves, the roll of the sea below. Come on. Easter, here again, a time for the blind to see. Easter, surely now can all of your hearts be free. and on the lead guitar, Mr. Mark Mitchell. So here I am once more in the playground of the brilliant. Too late to say I love you, too late to restage the play, abandoning the relics in my playground of yesterday. I'm losing on the swings, losing on the roundabouts. Too much too soon, too far to go, too late to play. The game is over. The game is Are you ready? Well, the game is over, 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 over. This is over. Yet another to exercise a silent scream, a scream that's born from sorrow. 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 I never did write that love song. The words just never seem to flow. Now sad in reflection, though I gaze through perfection and examine the shadows on the other side of morning, and examine the shadows on the other side of morning. Promise wedding now awake. Promise wedding now awake. Awake, awake. Well, this is awake. Fool escape from paradise will look over his shoulder and cry. Sit and chew on daffodils, struggle to answer why. As you grow up and leave the playground where you kissed your prince and found your frog, remember the jester showed you tears, a script for tears. So I'll hold my peace forever when you wear your bridal gown. In the silence of my shame, the mute that sang the siren song has gone solo in the game. I just went solo, solo in the game. But this game is over. This is over. Can you still say you love me? Can you still say you love me? Can you still say that you love me? The jester's tears, the jester's tears. Can you still say that you love me? Do 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 you love me? The jester's tears, these sweet jester's tears. Tears, these are tears. These are tears. Thank you very much.